I'll catch you right.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, and welcome to our show, Crooked Doctors. Today is Friday, August 29th, 2014.
Right.
And this is Josh Valinsky,
Hey.
my special
Hey, Josh.
Here
co-host.
I am.
And guess who we have on the phone? Bill, say hello.
Bill Dorrity. Hello, all. Hello, everybody. I'm still around. A lot of people have me fast, but I'm still here.
Hey, thanks for calling in. I'll put you through. Hello. Thank you for calling our show.
All right. Great. Am I okay? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you sound great.
All right.
Hello. Let's see.
Yeah.
So Bill.
So what's been going on? Lately? What's the update? Can you fill me in and the viewers and tell us what's going on now?
Everybody's concerned that this is William Dorrity on the phone, and everybody was concerned what happened to you. So you want to explain what happened to you?
Well, basically, I've had some personal problems, and I'm a little under the weather. I haven't been too well lately, but I intend to be back in action before the year's out. So hang in there, folks. I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere, and I'll be back.
Great. So
good to hear from you, Will. It's Jason.
Yeah. Oh, who's that? Jason. Yeah, Jace. How you doing?
Good. It's good to see you and hear from you.
Oh yeah, great. Because I can't see anybody there, so that's basically it.
No, actually, Bill, are you watching us on computer in Jersey City right now?
I am, but for some reason or other, I can't get you people, and I don't know what's the problem. I can see your Crooked Doctors there. Let me see. Open.
Okay, so you're going to be on mnn.org. We stream live on the internet.
Right.
And if you go to Community Channel 1 and click on Watch Now,
Watch Now. Let me try that.
Okay. So you can watch us out in Jersey City. And Jason, I understand you're purchasing some new equipment, so we'll be able to Skype you in real soon.
We're working on Skype, and she's
died.
supposed to set me up eventually. I don't know. How about you, Jace? You got Skype?
I have Skype, but this wasn't working on my 6-year-old
on your computer. I guess we both in this. We both got it set up. Yeah.
The computers are really cheap. I'm seeing laptops for like $200 minimum, and I've even seen computer desktops for like about that.
Lydia, I can see the Mo and Mary show.
Oh, you're on the wrong channel.
No, that channel too, but I can't even get that. I got Crooked Doctors, #1, and #2 is the Mo and Mary show.
Yeah, Mo and Mary are on channel 2. You're watching us, Crooked Doctors. You're on with me. So, Bill, the important thing here is...
I can't get either one. I can't get Mo and Mary or Crooked Doctors.
Oh,
so
you know what? I'm going to come out to Jersey City, and you'll be fine.
We're going to have to set it up. Yeah,
you'll be fine.
Mo and Mary, yeah?
Yeah, well, good for Mo and Mary.
So I'm in the right church, but the wrong pew. So you're going to have to set this up. You know what's happened during the week, like in the morning or something like that, weekday. That's the best time we could set things up. But we'll talk about that, But other issues, let's talk about other issues. You're going to federal court, right?
That's true. Thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate it. But for the viewing audience, particularly for our devoted fans like Ben, William Dorrity is alive. And he's live.
Thank God.
Crooked Doctors.
Well, Ben isn't online now, is he?
No, he'll be calling in. I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to get this moved from here to here so that I can see it. So, because sometimes I notice when I'm, they've situated this behind me. So when I get really rolling in content, if I had the phone here, then I could see when it lights. So we're working on that. So I got to talk to the tech people.
And we seem to be having troubles with our own laptops. Me and Jason too.
Well,
so,
Jason is purchasing new equipment, so we'll get him on. We'll be Skyping him in. His old computer, we couldn't get Skype to work because they have a new update. And I'm going to come out and see if I can Skype you in. So once I start Skyping you guys in, you'll be, animated in real time. So
absolutely good.
Okay. So the important thing is William Dorrity is live and alive.
Yeah. Ready to go.
Ready to kick some more butt.
Oh yeah, go. All right, Jason, you got it. Jason's right. That's what we're gonna do.
Okay. So we're going to pick up where we left off, and this is really important. This is like Lydia Reed.
Yeah, I got to hear this. I got to hear what's going on. Go ahead.
Wait till you hear this. This is huge. I got a call from a producer today.
Yeah.
This is like Lydia Radin and her men. Wait till you see the headlines and see who we're helping.
I'd like to say one thing about Skype. Whenever you see a new film nowadays, you actually see one character Skyping and another when you go to the movies nowadays.
Really?
So we should be able to get it underway.
Yeah, no, we'll get Skype up and running. And remember, somebody has to field test this. This is all new equipment. We should get Brownie. We go live. We take the risks, right?
Yeah, I feel that people from Jersey are having a hard time now because of me and Jason are having a hard time. This ain't an old PC, but it's a lot of. But me and Jason are having a hard time. Other people in Jersey are having a hard time. That's why you got to do something, field test or something.
Yeah, but so where you're calling in live. We're going to get Jason Berg is updating his equipment so we can Skype him in. One of the things that MNN likes to promote is that even if you don't have a TV, we stream live on the internet. So, for example, there are folks in Florida who watch me live on the internet, so they know I'm alive every week, right? And
there are have a hard time if people in Florida are okay.
And then we also have we're on National Liberty Alliance, and we had from Connecticut, and I also gave us a plug for National Liberty Alliance to see what's going on, because again, Lydia, what you've been doing, and you are magnificent. You laid a lot of groundwork. It's a shame that it's taken over 20 years to get your final desserts. But I am glad that your dessert will be finally paid for, and those so-called civil servants and other people will definitely serve time for the crimes against you and others.
Well, the wonderful thing is National Liberty Alliance, which is in Jersey City, they put out a call, and they said, here's what we'd like you to do. So this is what I did to help you, Jason. They said, because Jason is the state coordinator for National Liberty Alliance, and what they're trying to do is establish common law grand juries. Because people like me, when you're blocked, the prosecutor's one involved in the crimes. What do you do? So we're giving out life-saving information here, okay? So this is life-saving information. Forget the police, they're corrupt. Forget the prosecutor, they own the system. This is what you do. This is important, because what I did over the past 2 weeks is in Jersey City, where I'm a crime victim, I called the prosecutor and I said, I'm a crime victim. I'd like to be put in touch with the foreperson for the statutory grand jury. Now I have a series of 5 to 6 tape-recorded conversations. I'm going to put them up on my YouTube channel, on Crooked Doctors on YouTube. And then, Jason, you can refer to this, because there was a national call that said we need to develop the hard evidence that shows when a crime victim like me asks to be put in touch with the foreman of the statutory grand jury, their access is blocked. Okay, that's illegal. Good. That's criminal. And that shows that we need to institute a common law grand jury. In effect, in our MNN producers meetings, that's what we're doing. Okay, and we'll get to that in a minute. But what the national leadership asked was, we want to show, because this is happening in Florida, we want to show how the statutory grand jury is controlled and manipulated by the prosecutor, and all of it's illegal, all of it's criminal. So you out there in the viewing audience, if you're a crime victim and the police have shut you down and the prosecutor doesn't respond to you, you call the prosecutor's office, you call the sheriff, you call the marshals at your court, and you say, I'm a crime victim. I want to be put in touch with the foreman of the statutory grand jury. And if you are not, immediately put in touch with that person, and they don't bring you in front of the grand jury so you can present your evidence, then you fill out an affidavit and you send it to National Liberty Alliance. They're collecting information nationally, okay?
And also, to get that affidavit, you have to sign in and register at National Liberty Alliance as a member, and you'll be able to find that in the jurist documents. And you take that, copy and paste it, and then fill in the blanks, and you will be able to do that. I myself have two charges, and I'm going to have probably another 4. Just here's an example of how stupid our civil servants are. I went into the motor vehicle of New Jersey, gave them a form that prevents them from using my Social Security number as a way of identifying me. The manager wouldn't take it. So under protest, I put it under there, but all the information was there. And when I'll be putting paperwork in on this gentleman, because if these are all federal codes saying that you can't stop these documents, anyone stopping a document from being processed is in New Jersey, it's an indictable offense, but it's a felony.
Good, good, because we're going to show, like, one of the things I'm talking about is how my documents were tampered with in federal court. So I want to pick up where we left off last week. I'm posting the new shows on my YouTube Crooked Doctors channel as quickly as I can. But what the viewing audience needs to know is that when your documents are tampered with in the court, whether they're thrown out or whether they're changed. Now, some of the folks that are helping us...
I want to say one thing
Go
about crime victims. We see a lot of distortion of crime victims nowadays. When Patrick Lynch gets on, the head of the PBA, and starts saying that the criminal is a crime victim when the real crime victim was choked to death, that is unconscionable and unacceptable.
Right.
So what you're talking about is there was a guy named Eric. What he's talking about is there was a guy named Eric Gardner who was choked to death by the police.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're having this propaganda campaign where the head of the police union came forward in the last few weeks.
Correct.
And he said, and it's blame the victim, blame the victim, blame the victim. If Eric Gardner had not tried to resist arrest, he would not have been choked to death. Now, with all due respect...
He wasn't even resisting arrest. He had his hands up and said, don't touch me. And those police officers were trespassing. As you say back off, they violated his civil rights. So it's more than it's murder and it's violation of his civil rights.
Well, but here's we had a professor emerita from the University of California, San Diego, who was kind enough to tune into my show when I showed the treatise on false arrest and false imprisonment. And remember, I'm a member of Al Sharpton's National Action Network. I got in touch with them and I said, I need to give you this treatise because here's the thing, with all due respect and utmost humility to the police and to law enforcement, he was not resisting arrest because there was no signed warrant for his arrest. There was no sworn oaths for his arrest. And if you don't have those, then the only way that the police can act is if they watched him disturb the peace, and all news reports say he was not disturbing the peace, or if the police officers saw him in the commission of the crime, and all news reports say that they did not see him in commission of a crime. So this whole big propaganda campaign of, oh, he'd be alive today if he wasn't resisting arrest. Where's the warrant? You don't have one. Did you see him disturbing the peace? No, you didn't. Did he commit a crime in front of you? No.
Was there?
Pardon me?
I understand some of the reports that he even broke up a fight and trying to keep the peace.
Correct. And then again, you have the police in 1994 when they killed Anthony Baez, I believe his name was, with a chokehold. And, since 1994, there have been many complaints. Were the police trained? Were they? No, they kept using this chokehold. And then you hear him say, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Correct.
And the thing is that the EMS people are suspended without pay regarding our corporate cops are behind the desk still collecting money. So where there's such disparity here?
Exactly. Now, we've had for the last year or two, we have Pret Barrera, who's the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan. He's been saying this in the New York Times. Sequestration, mandatory budget cuts. Be prepared, because Manhattan, New York City is going to go the way of Chicago, right? Arm yourselves, form gangs, because there's going to be crimes and we can't protect you. Well, that's why Crooked Doctors is showing you the crimes that are committed in the courts and how you can protect yourself. One of the people who taught us, and I'll be showing that in subsequent shows, is a guy named Mr. Gary Clark. Mr. Gary Clark is the nephew of a famous civil rights attorney, Virgil D. Hawkins. Virgil D. Hawkins fought a civil rights battle for 28 years. So their message to me is keep fighting, Lydia. So let me show you what's happening now. I'm going to switch the camera view to...
Yes.
This I want to show this because I can do this very quickly. Okay, this is what's happening now. And
good.
And wait, no, leave this. I'm good.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is, this is what's happening now. Now, I had one of our producers called me today. This is the lawyer that's suing. There are 34 students who are suing Yeshiva University right now, and they're in federal court. Okay, so they want this to go away. So this is the attorney in federal court. Okay, and right now Yeshiva University has 34 students who were subjected to physical and sexual abuse going back decades. And now this judge right here, I'm going to focus in on Judge Guido Calabresi. Okay, I'm suing Judge Calabresi. Okay, and the reason why I'm suing him right now is, here's what he says. He's so dishonest. He's describing the rabbi's behavior. These are rabbis at Yeshiva University who subjected these students to physical and sexual abuse going back decades. And he describes the rabbi's behavior as appalling. And Judge Calabresi said that, quote, any decent court is going to be interested if possibly it can, he said that, quote, any decent court is going to be interested if it possibly can in giving redress. Any decent court is going to be interested if it possibly can in giving redress. Okay, now this is a judge that was on a 3-panel Second Circuit Court of Appeals with me, where they upheld, this is one of the Second Circuit Court of Appeals judges, where they upheld these fabricated rulings in my case. So what we got to do is get to the attorney for these students and say, look, the judge that's deciding in your case, I'm suing this judge. Okay, this judge is dishonest. That's why I named him. I could have won my case in 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, but this was one of the judges on the Second Circuit that upheld Yeshiva University's fabricated rulings. Okay, so I'm suing him, and part of the let me get we're trying to get the word out. I'm going to have to go have a meeting with the lawyer for the students. Let's see what.
Well, again, Lydia,
go ahead.
Question. This gentleman, this trial is going on? Is it this event? Is it a trial by jury, or is it trial by one judge?
Well, what they did was, here's the attorney. It's Kevin Mulhern, and he files the lawsuit, right? He files the lawsuit. This is the lawyer for dozens of men who say they were sexually abused as high school students by rabbis at Yeshiva University's high school, okay? it was Yeshiva University's high school for boys in Manhattan, and they went to a Second Circuit. They went to the Southern District of New York, the federal court here, and they argued the statute of limitations, and they said too much time has gone by. Well, there's many ways to show that that's not true. So, for example, and he's arguing this in this case, and I'll show you how it. Remember, they can invoke common law, so there's no statute of limitations issues. But this is what the audience.
Let's add this to it.
Pardon
now,
me?
These are rabbis. They have to abide by Jewish law. Anyone who's 18 or older is a man. So technically speaking, these rabbis have committed a trespass on these young men on the vantage. So they need to be taken to their Jewish court and sanctioned against the violations of their taking the oath of a rabbi. So there's another
you know
point.
something, bearing false witness against your labor. This is not a religious institution. This is a bunch of criminals. Now remember, I was showing you, because pay attention, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the briefing, right? I was showing you, right? I'm suing right now, and I'm showing you there are no statute of limitations issues. Fraud vitiates all proceedings. If there's a fraud upon the court, that stops the statute of limitations. You can stop the statute of limitations with active fraudulent concealment. Okay, I'm going to show you. Well, that's why we need to get in touch with this attorney, and that's part of our mission. I'm going to show you active fraudulent concealment in my case. This is very easy. Now, Dan Rizal of Sive, Paget, and Rizal has gone into federal court in my case because I'm forcing him out in the open, and he said he did nothing wrong. Well, he did. So I'm going to show you.
Can I ask
Sure.
one question on statute of limitations? That has always seemed so illegitimate to me because, first of all, a wrong was done. Lydia, a great wrong was done to you. A great wrong was done to these students. The wrong remains done. How can there be a statute of limitations?
Thank you. That's a common law argument. So first they drag you into their statutory court so you don't get upset because they're going to hang themselves because what we're going to show is they don't obey their own rules. So I'm showing this now as I ask for the judges in my case in the Eastern District of New York to take judicial notice of irrefutable facts.
Yeah, because if someone loses a finger, they lose a finger forever. How can there be a statute of limitations?
Exactly. That's a common law argument.
Yeah.
You have an injured party, and that injured party needs to experience restitution.
Yeah.
So first what you do, if you're smart, what you do is you go into court. You go into their statutory court. You let them make their statutory arguments. You show what a pack of liars they are. You give them enough rope to hang themselves. They don't even obey their own rules. They misconstrue. They lie. They do a fraud upon the court. So there's no statute of limitations issues when they engage in fraud. Fraud vitiates all proceedings. When they execute a fraud upon the court because they lie, they make a false record through the sin of omission and through false statements of material fact. You don't get upset. You invoke judicial law, Section 487, which I'll show you, and you get triple but damages. You let them lie. And then you ask for judicial notice of facts, and you show how you can't get a fair hearing because the judges themselves won't give you a fair hearing, right? Because they're like cockroaches. They operate in the dark. So I'm showing in my case, I keep asking for judicial notice, which is mandatory because it's requested by me, a party. And I keep saying, let's have the open public hearing at which you would come. So let's have the open public hearing and we'll have judicial notice, okay? So they refuse to do that. So I'm showing over and over again how they don't obey their own rules. They hang themselves, and then you can invoke common law, as we've seen when I presented Andre versus Pace University. It's well established, as Jason Berg has pointed out, right? That common law is in the New York State Constitution, and common law, as well as statutory law, applies to the courts. So when there is no statute, you invoke common law, as you pointed out. There's an injured person. There has to be restitution.
Yes.
Okay, so let me show you how they're doing this in my case. In the underlying case for me, is everybody still with me?
Yes.
Okay, so here I'm going to show this. This is very quickly because I'm going to put this up on the internet so these students can start, and their lawyer can start making more compelling arguments. Remember, I laid a foundation that showed that this is not unique to Yeshiva University's high school. The corruption and the crime is systemic and widespread at this school, okay? So this is a subpoena that was made for all my records. And you see right here, these are the criminals right here in Manhattan, okay? This is Judge Shondia, I'm probably pronouncing her first name incorrectly, Simpson, okay? Judge Simpson, okay? This was a subpoena that was made for all my records on the 14th of July, 2009. Okay, this is a valid subpoena. You also want to avoid Jess Berkowitz like the plague because he went to Yeshiva University's law school and he also donates money to the school. He was my court-appointed public defender, and he's engaged in crimes against me. Okay, so this was the valid subpoena that was made for all my records, okay? I'm going to show you active fraudulent concealment right now. And remember, I've been doing this on my show. So they're supposed to release all my letters of recommendation and all my records from the school. So I asked for my records. Here's what they didn't provide to me, okay? This is my letter of recommendation from Mike Prodigal. Now remember, I showed this on my show before. And this is my professor, Michael Prodigal. I worked for him. Remember, I was showing this in previous shows. Now, there nowhere in my records is this letter of recommendation. So I had to call my professor. He's at the University of Minnesota. I had to call him and say, you know, the school refuses to give me my letters of recommendation. These are data points in time that protect my life. And remember, he gave me this letter of recommendation. He had it notarized. And then the dishonest Russian community, the Bukharian Jews, lied after I resigned from the Yeshiva Victims Group. They lied and claimed that I bribed this notary. So after
How can you bribe a notary? The notary is not is just going to be there. He's just looking at the affidavit as you there. He doesn't even bother to read it. He just makes sure that you're the person who's signing it.
Exactly. So I could not have gone to Minnesota and bribed a notary. That's ridiculous. But remember, after I got out of Rikers, I went down to the criminal court. I found out that they had deliberately withheld documents that would have vindicated me at trial, so they're all guilty. And I said, okay, where's my letter of recommendation from my professor, from Mike Prodigal? Okay, no, they have not provided this. So just a few, like within the last week, Dan Rizal of Sive, Paget, and Rizal went into federal court in the Eastern District and said, I've done nothing wrong. Well, yes, you have. You were Yeshiva Victims, you were Yeshiva University's outside counsel. You knew that there was a valid subpoena for my records, right? Here's the valid subpoena. And here's the valid subpoena. And this was not provided. Before I went to Rikers, I had to get this from Mike Prodigal. After I got out of Rikers, I had to call Mike Prodigal. Remember on this show, I tape recorded the conversation. He pulled up this letter from his files on his computer, and he read it so that he would authenticate it on air. This is what my professor did to protect my life.
And protect himself.
Pardon me?
He's also protecting himself because it's his word, and he's been denied his freedom of speech and press by the unscrupulous yeshiva administrators.
Well, yeah, but you know, in some of the documents, there's no statute of limitations. In some of the documents, this letter of recommendation is cross-referenced, so you know that it exists, okay? So they deliberately did not give me my letter of recommendation that was on Walter Reed Army Institute of Research letterhead, where that stated, among other compliments, that Miss Radin had, quote, performed beyond the call of duty, end quote. Okay, they didn't want anybody to see that letter of recommendation. So when the school refuses to comply with a valid subpoena, they're engaged in active fraudulent concealment, and there is no statute of limitations.
And also conspiracy.
Yes, this is thank you, Jason. This is an ongoing criminal conspiracy. Okay, so this is not unique to the high school. All right, this is systemic. And when Judge Simpson refuses to enforce a valid subpoena, okay, that is also a crime. Okay, so this woman, this judge, Judge Simpson, she is engaged in crimes towards me. So when Dan Rozelle says he's engaged in no wrongdoing, yes, you are. You are working with the school, with Martin Bachstein and Jimmy David, to actively conceal, to not comply with the subpoena, to hide all this, okay? And that's just the beginning of the crime and corruption.
Again, you go down the list of the when the affidavits I gave you, I read, just to give an example of crime, I read that off to Jersey City Council. They wanted to have a thing that they limited the amount of people's time speaking from open time to 5 minutes. I read that into the record, and that was at one point of intimidation. And everybody was very changed.
Yeah, you're going off into the weeds. What I recommend,
but I'm just saying that these people who elect or serve are responsible to the people, and these people don't have a clue that they're responsible to their employers. They're sovereigns. They're not. Without us, there is no job for them.
Well, what they need to know, and again, remember, this is the briefing, so I am going to bring out this is the way that you protect yourself. What the general public needs to know, and this is part of how we're educating them, is that all your elected officials and your judges, they take an oath to uphold the Constitution. So,
by the way, this is Jason Berg on the phone. I want that clear because I'm looking up on the corner.
Oh, your name is right up there, Josh Valinsky. This is Josh Valinsky. Your name is up there. Oh, wait, hold on. I think we got a call. Hello, thank you for calling the show. Would you like to ask a question or share a comment? Sorry. All right, let me put you through. Hello?
Oh, darling, how are you?
Oh.
You look wonderful.
Hold it. Let me turn you up a little. Hold on just 1 second.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Say hello, Ben.
Darling, I'm so glad to talk to you today.
Don't you want to say hello to Bill?
I want to say, yeah, I was watching. I heard him talk. He's alive. Thank God.
That's Ben. He's
Bill.
one of our big fans.
Bill.
Bill!
Hey, Bill.
Bill! I told Bill to have a cup of coffee and relax. I hope he didn't go to the restroom.
That's all right. I'll see him at Harold Channer's Christmas party anyway.
Harold Channer's Christmas party, at which I will never be invited. But,
What happened? You got disinvited from his party?
No. What you need to know is, and this is really important, is that your elected officials take an oath to uphold the Constitution, as do judges. So when they deny you equal protection of the law, when they deny you due process, what they have done now is they have no jurisdiction. Their power over you flows from the Constitution. So when they violate their oaths to uphold, support, and defend the Constitution, what they've done is an effective step outside their jurisdiction, because they take an oath, they swear an oath to uphold the Constitution. So when they break
foreign and domestic enemies.
Well, they take an oath to uphold the Constitution. So when hold on for just 1 second. Hello?
Do you know if the FBI has a
Bill, I'm going to put you through so you can say hello to Ben.
Oh, good.
Much.
Bill, say hello.
Yeah, hello.
Ben, say hello to Bill.
What happened was, I couldn't get in. I just got in. Streaming live in New Jersey. It's working now. I can see video. You got a nice black jacket on. Very good. Look very good.
Right,
and you got your pony.
She's come a long way from when
you got your ponytail, which is good.
He's watching us live. We're streaming live, and Bill's watching us in Jersey. The network is going to love this.
I can see you now. Okay, I had a little chicken around here.
No, that's good. So we're streaming live, and you're watching us. That's great.
Yeah. Hey, Ben, what's up? How you doing, Ben?
Bill, I'll see you at Harold Chandler's Christmas party this year, all right?
Yeah, well, let me try to get the volume down so I can hear you. Here you go. All right.
So Bill's alive, and he's watching us in Jersey. Now remember,
this is the first time I've ever seen Joshua out of tie. Is today casual?
No, he's a little casual.
Friday or something.
He's a little casual.
That's
yes.
right.
Okay.
Can't you see me now, right? You can't see me, can you? You can?
Yeah, we can. We see you.
No, I said Josh.
He's talking about.
Hi, Josh. How you doing today?
Okay, it's a full house, guys. Listen, I want to get through this because this is important, right? Now, remember, this is the briefing, okay? So let's listen up.
I can see your document. Go ahead, Lydia. Get your stuff in.
Okay. Remember, we're teaching people how to protect themselves, okay?
Right.
So you don't get upset, right? You got the judge, right? The judge is required. They take an oath to uphold the Constitution.
That's right.
So when you have a judge, and from in Article 6, we know that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Okay?
Right.
So when a judge refuses to uphold the Constitution, what they've done is they have no power to act now. Okay? They're outside of their jurisdiction. Okay? So once they're outside of their jurisdiction, they can make no rulings. They have no power to enforce. We have no obligation to obey. Okay, that's how you control your judge. Okay, when they refuse to uphold the Constitution, then they have revoked, they've stepped outside of their jurisdiction, and now you can sue them. And the easiest thing to do is they get money or a salary from the public treasury.
Yes.
So what you can do is you can garnish the judge's salary. Okay, and then you can put a lien against everything the judge owns. If your attorney lies, like my attorney did, you got New York Judicial Law, Section 487, which controls misconduct on the part of attorneys, okay? And their attorney, okay? So you don't get upset. You hope that they lie, like Dan Rizal has lied, because now they owe you triple damages. Now, I went into federal court, and I've been consistently asking for the judge to take judicial notice. Well, the judge refuses to take judicial notice. That's illegal. And I said, listen, Dan Rizal has lied, and he testified against me and claimed that he had no personal knowledge. He did this on the witness stand. Now he's misconstruing. This is how he tries to misconstrue and lie. I'm having him disqualified, removed from my case right now. But he claims that he has detailed personal knowledge of Miss Radin's previous federal lawsuit. That's ridiculous. Do you see how he's trying to misconstrue?
Yep.
You need to, if you're going to testify on the witness stand, and I called him out on this, I said, if you're going to testify on the witness stand, you need to have personal knowledge of me and what happened. Not the fact that you handled a federal lawsuit where you looked at a bunch of false records. Okay, see how he's trying to misconstrue? Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, so Dan Rizal is a liar, and one of the things that he's lying about is the fact that there was a valid subpoena made for my records, right? There's a valid subpoena made for my records, and these, here we go. There was a valid subpoena made for my records. Whoops. So there are no statute of limitations issues, and Dan Rizal was part of the farce of my criminal trial. This is in the Eastern District Court right now. I'm saying, that they refused to enforce this subpoena. So the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, ladies and gentlemen, you call me, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, Alex Spiro. There's no statute of limitations issues when you obstruct justice. There is no absolute immunity when you obstruct justice by refusing to enforce and comply with this valid subpoena to give me this letter of recommendation. That's called obstruction of justice, okay? So the Manhattan District Attorney's Office conspired with Detective Cologne, conspired with Dan Rizal, conspired with Yeshiva University's medical school, the Crooked Doctors, at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine of Yeshiva University. They conspired to commit obstruction of justice. This is one example, okay? This is very, very serious. So when Dan Rizal goes into federal court again and he says there's no misconduct on my part, yes, there is, okay? You conspired with Martin Bachstein, Jimmy David, and the school in widespread criminal conduct, which these students will build on. This school is so corrupt that they will obstruct justice with Mr. Vance and Mr. Robert Morgenthau and the Democrooks in Manhattan. That's what they will do, and they will destroy the lives of innocent people. I'm one of them. And thank God we got a full house of Lydia Radin and a bunch of Marines that are going to put a stop to this. God bless you.
Thank you.
Okay? Jason, you want to chime in here?
Well, I'm really glad everything's moving forward. We just give a shout out. The National Liberty Alliance now has all 50 states, 3,142 counties that have been reconstituted. We have filed out 90 orders to the judges and in America, and also the paperwork has gone out to.
Okay, let me show you. I got a question about an organizational chart. Now, here's one I want to show you, okay? Because we're doing this to teach people how to protect themselves. Now, I've been showing you how my documents, last week I showed you how I submitted my documents not bound. See, this was the demonstration copy, right? These were my bound documents, right? And I showed you, let me go to camera 2, hold on, just 1 second. Remember, I showed you this was my demonstration. I submitted bound documents as a demonstration to just 1 second here, hold on. Whoops, okay. Let me just do this right here. This is great, okay. I submitted my documents. This is, if you go to the Eastern District of New York, 225 Codman Plaza East, you go to the federal district courts. I submitted this bound volume to the judges as a courtesy copy. And you see that if this was taken apart, right? And you can see this, right, Bill? Bill? I saw Bill? Hello, Bill. Dorrity.
Dropped out.
No, he's there. He's probably watching this on his computer.
Yeah.
But you can see that if I submitted this as a bound volume, right, I was told explicitly when I submitted my documents, do not submit it this way, but I submitted this as...
Yeah, I can see it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Bill, can you see this? Me?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay, so if I submitted this as a bound volume, I was told explicitly, do not submit your documents this way, because you can see, first of all, it's an effort for us to take it apart. But as you take this all apart here, you can see that this would get stuck. All these documents right here would get stuck in the feeder in the scanner.
I can see it. I can definitely see it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's good. So you can see that I was told explicitly, do not submit your documents this way, because what will happen is we have to take it apart, and when we put it through the feeder to scan this electronically into our system, all of this is going to get stuck in our scanner, okay? So I was told explicitly to submit my documents as unbound, okay? So what I did is I submitted an unbound copies like this, okay? Now I'm showing how my documents were tampered with in the court. And when I went down, first I had to fight for a year with Judge Chen just to release my documents, to show them. But I was told to submit them as an unbound volume. And you can see that and these were the courtesy copies that I gave to Carolyn E. Crook and to the judges. And the pro se office said, do not submit it this way. We can't get this through the feeder. Okay, submit it as an unbound volume. So for the first thing they did to tamper with my documents is they made sure that nobody could see them. So I have to fight with Judge Chen just to get these documents released so you could see them. And then this is what I submitted. You can see these were unbound volumes. I wrote on this to guide the judge. This is Exhibit B. This is not a real record. Okay, this is fraud from Jersey City Medical Center. And they tried to claim, this is the fraudulent document, that I was mailing threatening letters to Judge Rodriguez. That's propaganda, okay? Judge Nino Falcone mailed me a threatening letter. That's how the propaganda works. Now, this is what I submitted. This is what the court has. And you see this is from a bound volume, right? And you can see where they whited out Exhibit B, and they whited out where I wrote in wholesale fraud, and they tried to convince Judge Chen behind my back that this was a real medical record instead of wholesale fraud. And they're like, look, she's dangerous. See? She's mailing threatening letters to a judge. That's a lie. Now, I asked Judge Chen. What?
There's no habeas corpus.
Well, that's not relevant right now because...
No, but if they make a statement, he's lying he's a fraud upon the court, he's making this thing up, and the ruling from the bench, which is another violation of his oath of office.
But this is Judge Chen. She's a woman. She's appointed by Chuck Schumer, who doesn't like me. But when I asked Judge Chen, I say, I want you to take judicial notice, and I want an open public hearing. And by the way, my documents have been tampered with, and I need to have opposing counsel here, and we need to go through all the documents that were tampered this way. And obviously, this is the game that we're playing. Judge Chen refuses to do it. So I have to get her kicked off my case. And again, to Judge Scanlon and to the chief judge,
They're really replacing your documents with forgeries.
They're tampering with the documents.
Yes.
This is a federal crime. Each and every time they do this. Now, Mr. Clark also had this experience. Okay, there are people coming forward. I'm gathering information about others who've been victimized. These are pro se litigants. You submit your documents. They're either thrown out or they're changed. Remember, Bill, when we submitted a 14-page motion in Jersey City in your case, and they threw out 13 pages. Remember, Bill?
Yeah.
Bill? I think he's still watching. But I can get an affidavit from Bill. They did that too. So this is what's happening right now in the Eastern District of New York. Okay, if you go into
I do.
Bill, do you remember when we submitted that 14-page motion?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. And you remember when the clerks told us that they threw out...
That's right.
There you go. Are you willing to sign an affidavit for that, Bill?
I am. Well, you know I am when you're ready.
Okay. So listen.
You have to be ready, because the quicker you get that in, the more that John's going to have to show to federal judges that the crime is rampant, and it's time for the common law to come back into play.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to show you now, because this is what I was asked, was when the judges do wrong, what do you do? Well, this is what you need to know, because this is what we did this week, okay? This is an organizational chart of the Department of Justice, and you can see, if I can bring this up a little here, you can see where this was signed by Eric Holder, okay? He's the Attorney General of the United States of America. Now, look, I want you to look at this. This is really important, okay? So when the Federal Bureau of Investigation lies, when the Bureau of Prisons lie, when the U.S. Attorney's Office lie, like that. Remember, I presented evidence that showed that I went to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Newark, Paul Fishman's office. They lied, said I wasn't there. I had the videotape that shows we were there.
U.S. attorney.
Yeah, well, when they lied in Newark, because they're so corrupt, because this is the part of the crime, you go to the U.S. Marshals. See? The U.S. Marshals have a direct line, right? Right here. If you look at this organizational chart, you go to the U.S. Marshals in your courthouse, you show them what's happening, and they have a direct line of communication to Eric Holder, the Attorney General. Now, we did this a couple days ago, and I'm getting the affidavits to back us up. And don't think that I don't have hard evidence to support everything I'm saying, because I do, okay? So remember the U.S. Marshals, all right? These were the law enforcement agency. They were famous in the civil rights struggle. Do you remember down south?
Yes.
Okay, so they, when the local police, run away, when the FBI is nowhere to be found, when the sheriffs run away, when you're stuck with a good old boy system. This is what the U.S. Marshals were known. They are the law enforcement down south. During the civil rights struggle, they stood shoulder to shoulder, puffed out their chest, and they formed a human shield to protect people from violence, because the ammunition didn't come, the equipment didn't come. They had to stand there and with moral force form a human shield. We don't know about the Marshals up here because they're not taught anymore. I went to the U.S. Marshals and I showed them, here's how the federal judges in the Eastern District of New York are violating the federal rules of evidence, okay? I'm asking for judicial notice. They must give me, it's mandatory that they give me an open public hearing. And Judge Ross, who knows better, and Magistrate Judge Scanlon, who know better, and the Chief Judge, Karen Bagley-Ammon, who knows better, and John Gleason, the federal judge, who knows better, and Judge Chen, who's the federal judge, they're expected to know. I go down and I show them, see, I'm asking for them, I'm asking to take judicial notice. I'm asking for an open public hearing. You know what the marshals said? They said we're unlearned in the law. Okay, they're unlearned in the law because what exists in the minds of the oppressed is what the oppressor put there, okay?
Right, and it's all miseducation, because if we were being taught civics, which are supposed to be taught in our schools, we wouldn't have any problems with people being put in jail, because everyone's going to start respecting their person. Because again, common law is common sense, and if you don't bother people, you're free to be anywhere and do anything, and without stopping. But our society has created corporate cops that think they can have the right to stop us when they don't. They ask us for our papers, which is all illegal, and it's a front to make money for their illegal activities.
Right, you've gone into a little more depth than most people can absorb at once. But what Jason's trying to say is, even if we don't argue common law, even if you just stick to the statutory courts, what you're supposed to do is, when the FBI lies,
for the court system, yeah, right.
When the FBI lies, okay, when the U.S. Attorney's Office lies, this is the organizational chart. So what do? Our guardians of liberty in our federal courts are supposed to be the U.S. Marshals. So 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, I go down to the U.S. Marshals Service again. And I go down with a witness, and don't think I don't have hard evidence. And I explain to the U.S. Marshals, and first they're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Then we explain things to them, and they're like, oh my goodness, you really do know what you're talking about. Yes, we do, and it's your responsibility at the local level to call. You have a direct line to Eric Holder's office, and they need to call them, and I'm going to push this issue. Okay, my documents have been tampered with in the federal court to deceive and fool the federal judges. And they know, because I showed it to the U.S. Marshals, that when you ask for judicial notice, I'm supposed to get an open public hearing. They don't want to be forced into an open public hearing. They want to be insulated in the back room, do everything on the papers, misconstrue, like I showed you Dan Rozelle is trying to misconstrue. Okay, he's engaged in lots of criminal conduct towards me, all right? So the U.S. Marshal Service are supposed to be the people that you go to, and they're supposed to call directly the Eric Holder's office. Next week, what we're going to see is, let me move this. I have a videotape right here with Carolyn E. Crook, the dishonest attorney at the law department that works for the city of New York. Now remember, the city of New York is incorporated, and their powers are limited to enforcing the U.S. Constitution. So when the New York City Law Department with Carolyn E. Crook participates in violating my constitutional rights, there are no statute of limitations, and I can hold her personally accountable under New York Judicial Law, Section 487, and have her disbarred. Now, I've got a little 2-minute video here that I'm going to show next week. We're going to look at Carolyn E. Crook, and why is this important? This is important because Carolyn E. Crook is going to show everybody that she's got this, okay? I went down to her office with my little hidden camera. We sat in a public lobby, so there's no expectation of privacy, and I got the video that says, and I say to Carolyn E. Crook, open this up, I want to see, and this is Exhibit A, and she says yes, and this is Exhibit B, and she says yes, and you're going to see how Carolyn E. Crook confirmed that what she has is not what the court has. So Carolyn E. Crook today knows that my documents were falsified in the federal courthouse. So she is aware of that. Now, when you've got, we're going to see this little 2-minute video next week, and Carolyn E. Crook confirms that this is what I gave her. Okay, this is what I gave her. I make her go through the exhibits. I say, this is Exhibit A, this is Exhibit B, you see this. She confirms that this is what I gave her, and this is what's in the court. So Carolyn E. Crook at the New York City Law Department knows that my documents have been falsified in the federal court, and she is conspiring and colluding with these crimes. That's very serious. Wouldn't you agree, Josh?
Yeah. I agree. I agree too. Again, it's conspiracy in there too, Lydia, with what they're doing.
Yeah, and we're going to hold these people accountable. So in real time, what we're showing is the corruption of the courts, and we're sharing with the audience how to protect yourself. Okay, so you don't get upset. What you need to know is that, and this is the most important information I can give in the minute that we're going out, every judge swears to uphold an oath, to uphold the U.S. Constitution, your constitutionally protected right to due process of law and equal protection. Okay, so when the judge refuses to provide you with due process of law and equal protection, they refuse to enforce a subpoena, they refuse to give you an open hearing pursuant to judicial notice, that judge has stepped out of their jurisdiction. They have no more power. Okay, all their rulings are null and void. They have no power to enforce. We have no obligation to obey. And now you hold that judge personally accountable for the harm to you. You go to the U.S. Marshals, and the U.S. Marshals, who we will educate, are required to call. They're obligated, because they take an oath to uphold the law too, to call the Attorney General.
Any wrongdoing needs to be reported to the judges. And if the judges don't take part, the last person, it would be the military. And the military will be the responsible agent, because I guarantee, I could definitely say with past performance of our federal government, they will do the same, and that there will be bad behavior.
It's very interesting that you brought up the military, because the military is sworn to uphold, defend, and support the Constitution. So when our civilian government is corrupt, we can appeal to the military.
Yes, they have the right.
We've never had a military coup in the United States today.
Not a coup.
We may have one.
Well, I got to say, when we the people go ask our military against the wrongdoing, We are not going out for vengeance, and this is not a military coup. This is their responsibility to the people who gave everyone their authority. And without we the people, there is no authority, there's no consent. States do nullification, people do disconsenting. And remember, when you disconsent to their authority, they cannot go and trespass on you.
Okay, Jason, we're out, and there's people coming after me at 7 o'clock in the studio. So I'll see you guys all next week, okay?